Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can I have a profile, please?
Yes,
So, Ramesh,
yes,
right?
sir.
Good, Ramesh. Can you talk about yourself, Ramesh?
Yes, sir. Myself, Ramesh Kumar Aksetti. I'm basically from Amlapuram and currently staying in Hyderabad. And my qualification is I complete my schooling in Amlapuram, ZPP High School. I complete my intermediate in SRT Junior College, Alvaram. I complete my graduation from Achar Nagarjuna University College of Pharmaceutical Sciences from Guntur. And my long-term goal is, and my technical skills is, I have good at manual testing, Core Java and Selenium frameworks. And my short-term goal is I want to get a good job in a reputed company like you. And my long-term goal is I want to reach good position in that organization. And my hobbies is I have watching cricket and watching movies and reading books and spending time with my family. That's all about myself, sir.
Okay, good, good. So, are you working anywhere now? No.
No, sir.
So, you're a fresher, kind. Okay. Okay. So, let me set the job expectations. Okay. We are looking for kind of 0 to 2 years of experience.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is very good in manual testing
Yes, sir.
and knowing any programming language
Yes.
like Java or C Sharp, anything is fine. Okay. Is an added advantage. Okay. Is it fine with you, Ramesh?
Yes, sir. I'm fine with that.
Okay. So the very first question I want to ask you is like, why did you choose testing as your career? Because you are a fresher, right?
Yes,
There
sir.
are a lot of other skills available in the market. Is there any specific reason why did you choose testing as your career?
Yes, sir. Testing have less coding when compared to the development, and it's a challenging environment. I like to challenge because we do multitasking in testing because we write test cases and we understand the requirements and we discuss it with the clients everything and we execute the application and with the defect tracking everything will be there in testing. So that's why I choose testing as a professional.
But even other skill sets also have multitasking, right? Is there any specific reason why did you choose testing as your career? Why you are giving so much importance to testing? Is there any specific-
No, sir.
That's fine. Okay. Anyway, just I want to know your
Yes.
intentions, like why did you choose testing? Okay, that's good. Okay. So, tell me the entire testing process, where the testing starts and where the testing ends, and what are the different activities that happen in between.
First, client give the requirements to the business team, sir. Then business team analyze and prepare the documents. Based upon that document, design team and analyst team prepare FSC document. Based on that, we write the test cases and we derive the breakdown scenarios and generate test data and write the test cases. After developing the application from the development team, they hand over the application to the testing team. Then we perform the testing by using the test cases and we execute all the test cases. And if we identify any defects, we report the defects to the development team. If they are rectifying the defects, they are fixing the defects, then we with the retest and regression testing performing for the uh, enhancement, and then we will execute the application into the client location. That's the testing process.
Okay. So you talked about retesting regression, right?
Yes.
What are the different types of testing we perform once the build is released into the testing environment? How it goes?
Yes, sir. We perform testing environment. We perform scripted testing, sir, because we test the application based on the script, nothing but test cases. Then, if any bugs will be identified during the testing environment, after the bug fixed by the developers, we go with the retesting. Retesting is nothing but the testing the number, repeating the testing number of times, and regression testing is nothing but performed to ensure the application doesn't impact due to changing the code. In bug fixing, developer fix the bug by using some change in the code level. For that, we ensure to the customers due to changing the code in backend, the application should not impact in any functionality. To ensure that, we go with the regression testing, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. Scripted testing, retesting, regression testing, that is all fine. But what is the first thing you do?
Smoke testing, sir.
Okay. What is smoke?
Smoke testing is performed to identify the stability of the build, sir. In smoke testing, we test the high level testing, nothing but we test the major functionalities in the application. If testing is failed in smoke testing, the tester have capable to reject the build because if it don't work properly the major functionalities, it's not correct to move furtherly. Yes.
Good. Okay. So what happened? What happened if the build is rejected? If you reject the build, what is the next step?
They are changing the fixing and they make better build, then they again develop it into, implement into a testing server.
Mhm. Okay. So what is a defect?
So defect is a deviation from the expected results and actual results. We test the application based on the test cases. We have expected predefined results. If the actual results not meted the expected results, it's called as a deviations.
Mhm. Okay. What you will do when you get a defect? What is the general process?
Sir, I assign the defect in ALM. It's called an application lifecycle management. It's a tool. I raise the defect in ALM. Then I give priority and severity also based upon my understanding of the defect. And then we have a defect triage call. In the defect triage call, they fix the priority based on the business needs. If the defect is actually defect or not a defect or it's a deferred defect, then they fix the defect.
You talked about two things: fix defect, not defect, or deferred defect. What is a deferred defect there?
Deferred defect means, sir, if defect is acceptable from the business team, but there is no fixed target for the defect, then it's called as a deferred defect, sir.
You also talked about priority and severity.
Yes.
So, what is the basic difference between these two?
Severity means how the defect impact the application, how much the impact shows on the application is the severity, sir. Priority means how much time taken to fix that bug as per the business needs. It's a priority, sir.
Okay, good. So, have you come across any situation where a high severity is given a less priority?
In testing related, you're saying?
It is a very high severity, but at the same time, it is given a very less priority. Have you come across any such things? Can you think on top of your mind anything?
Yes.
Any examples?
High severity means if application module is not worked properly, particular module, it's a high severity, sir. But that module not used frequently from the end user side, it's a low severity to fix that.
Low priority.
No priority to fix that.
But module itself is not working is always high severity.
High severity, sir.
But see, some at least if not major users, at least 10% of users will use that
Yes,
module.
if
right?
they have any alternative way to do that, maybe I think.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Okay. So people interchangeably use defect and a bug. Is there any difference between
Yes.
a defect and a bug?
If tester find the defect during the execution, it's called a defect, sir. If the bug accepted by the development team and they obey the defect occurs due to the code error, it's called as a bug, sir.
So what are the different SDLCs have you used?
Models for fields.
SDLC models.
Waterfall model, V model, and agile models.
What is the agile and what is the advantage of what is a V model and what is the advantage of mid model over waterfall?
Sir, V model is a extension of waterfall model, sir. Actually, V stands for verification and validation, sir. In V model, we verify the documents and we validate the application, sir. And in V model, we prevent bugs before occurring because of we verify the documents, we find the major defects in the verification phase, sir. So it's less chances to occur defects in the validation phase, and as well as testing started along with the development in verification in waterfall model, sir. But when it comes to the waterfall model, there is no sequence, there is no phases, there is no interaction between the phases. If you only move the next phase only after completion of previous phase, and there is no verification process in the waterfall model, and its waterfall model is used for only small applications and is not a complexible applications. If once your requirements is clear, then only we go with the waterfall model. But when it comes to the V model, we can build the application by using V model even if the complexable requirements also. That's the difference between V model and waterfall models.
Okay. So validation. What do you mean by validation? Exact meaning.
Validation is nothing but the executing the applications or finding the defects.
Okay. And what are the different levels of validations are there?
Validation levels means System testing, UAT testing.
Okay. Is there any testing happens before system testing to find the
Yes,
defects?
sir. It's a white box testing is performed by the developers.
Okay.
It's unit testing and integration testing.
What is unit testing?
Unit testing, sir, if an application have different modules and if each module have different units. In unit testing, we test each unit, each individual unit we test because to find identify the defects. That's unit testing, sir.
So why why the functional testing is also called black box testing? Can you justify that?
Yes, sir. Because of we check the functionalities in functional testing, sir. When come to the white box testing, we don't check the functionalities. They test the code only. But in functional testing, we check the functionality, entire functionality. That's why it's called
Why
functional
it is a
testing.
black box then?
I don't know.
Okay. What is a black box testing?
Black box testing is a type of software testing performed by the testers. To perform black box testing, the tester doesn't have any knowledge of the code or internal structure of the code. In black box testing, we give the input and we check the output generated by the system.
You told the answer, right? That's why. What is why it is called black box testing? Same thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 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 What are the different black box techniques we use?
Techniques ECP, BVA, and black box state transition and use cases and decision table.
Why why you use BVA and ECP?
Sir, ECP is nothing but the divided the input domain into equivalence classes. And when it comes to the BVA is focus more on the boundaries. If you have a range between 5 to 10 characters, we will fix the password. We don't test the every between the 5 to 15 characters. We test only the boundary values. It helps to generate test data, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what is a test plan? Have you heard about a test plan? I know you are
Yes,
a
sir.
fresher, you never know, but what is a test plan?
Test planning is a detailed document which details included about the scope and purpose of the application and what are the requirements we have and how many times we tested and what's the entry criteria and exit criteria of the testing is all details are included in test planning, sir.
Okay. So, as you're talking about test planning, if I ask what are the different risks that might come up during testing, you have any idea about that?
Yes, sir. It's high priority risk, medium priority risk, low priority risk
Can you tell me the risk? I'm not asking about the prior, any risks that might come up.
during the testing, sir.
Uh,
Testing, sir, if we have a certain timelines for the testing, suppose we have 3 members in a team and we have only 10 days to the testing due to some reasons or some health problems. If 2 members are not coming into the office, so one person is not able to do testing entire day and not able to do complete the within the timelines. It's a risk, sir. To overcome this risk, overcome the risk and prerequisite we give KT to the some other persons too. If you have any one options in the team, we can use that persons. This one type of risk occur during testing.
good, good. Yes, you are a fresher, so I cannot expect more than that. Good, good. Okay. So, I want you to write some test cases or scenarios at least to
Yes.
test in. Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Ramesh, I'll give you an example. I want you to identify some scenarios for a particular use case kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
I say that I want to clone a record
Yes, sir.
from the existing table. There is a table like employee table is there. I want to clone a record. Just
Yes.
I want you to think about that
Yes.
and how you test that requirement. I want you to build the requirement and I want you to tell how you test that requirement.
Yes.
Yeah.
First, I
Fine,
will.
are you good?
Yes, sir. Okay. It's a default table, sir. Here the company name and company ID and company address are the default, and company employee ID, employee name and department is changed according to the requirements. So if you use a select button is there here. If we click the select button, and we have two fields here also. One is clone, and one is edit. And when we click on clone button by selecting the particular employee, the other screen will be open. It displays the details of the user. When you click on the clone by selecting particular user, this screen will be displayed. Your company name and company ID and company address will be occurs defaultly. And then we
What
need
do you
to
mean occurs defaultly? Because data
default
comes
means
automatically.
yes sir, it automatically, because we click on clone, it select these three as default, and we can need to change these three addresses. And employee ID, employee name and department we need to address here. And when we click on, then can I write scenarios?
What do you do?
So in this, first I test the default page, whether the three default are displayed here as it is, and its three empty fields displayed here or not. First I check this, then I enter wrong details here, invalid details, then I click on submit. The system should generate error message because of we enter the wrong details. It's the one type of scenario, and we click on details and I put the cancel button. When I enter the cancel button, the system redirected to this table, and there is no updation in the data because we didn't say submit and we didn't enter any values here. It's one type of
You
scenario,
need to
sir.
say it updates the existing record, or you validating whether it updates the existing record or
Create new record, sir.
create new record.
Yes, sir.
Because it is a clone.
Yes, sir. If it's the next positive testing, like I enter all the mandatory required details with valid data, then I click on submit, the system displays a pop-up like you enter the user created successfully like pop-up. Then I will, and it's one type of scenario, then I check this table again. After this pop-up message will be displayed, the user should be displayed in this table. It's a different type of scenarios, sir. I understand.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. So, just a generic question, like you tested a module.
Yes.
You tested a module, and in the same module there is a production defect. There is a
Production.
When you get a production defect, when it go like that.
And cool.
How you handle that? What
So
is the
first of
checkpoints you do
all, I check that scenario I will check or not. I verify the test cases that point to be included in test cases or not. If I execute,
that is a different thing. But what you check first? Whether the production defect. When you get a production defect,
yes,
what is the first thing you will do?
I check the same defect in the quality testing server also. If it's showing as a defect in testing server also, it's fine. If some we didn't do well. If it's working in testing server but it didn't working in the live server, some serious effect, I think.
So suppose the second case, first case, it happened in the production and happened in the testing environment.
Yes.
What you will do? How do you rectify that? How do you ensure that it will not be repeated again?
Then I will assign the bug to developer and they fix the change.
No. What are the steps you will take? What are the steps you will take to ensure that production defect will not come again next time in the next release?
I check thoroughly the test cases and its major functionality or minor functionality I adapt myself. Based on that, I will testing.
You don't you modify the test case?
Yes, sir. I will modify the test case also.
That's fine. Okay, cool. So how good you are with any programming language? Which programming language?
Java, sir.
Java. Okay. So what are the different OOPS concepts we have in Java?
So it's inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, and encapsulations.
Okay. What is inheritance? Can you explain the inheritance with an example,
Yes.
small example?
So first of all, inheritance is nothing but one class acquiring the object of elements of another class. In here we create a class. It's a two classes. One is parent class, one is child class. Here we create a few methods in parent class. It's called common skills and aptitude skills. And it's another class. We extend the parent method in this child class.
Parent class.
Yes, sir. Yatkan parent method in child class, sir. Here we didn't write this all the statements again. We need to extend the parent class and we create an object. Then by using this C1, by using this object, we can call these statements in the child class, sir.
Methods.
This is okay, sir. We can call these methods in child class, sir. It helps to code reusability, sir. That is the inheritance.
Okay, good. That's all. Good. Understand. Okay. So, have you worked on collections anytime?
Yes.
So, what is a collection?
So collection is a framework provided by Java. Collection framework provides many interfaces and their implemented classes in order to store a group of objects in a single entities.
So, why collections are introduced? What is the reason?
So because we didn't, in collections we can store multiple values and it is not a fixed in size also. Yes. That's why collection is useful.
What are the different interfaces you use? You told like interfaces. What are the major interfaces used in collection?
So there is a list interface, set interface, and queue interface.
What is the difference between list and set?
Sir, in list interface, the null values are allowed, duplicates are allowed, and insertion order is preserved. But when it comes to the set interface, null values are not allowed, and duplicates are allowed only once, and insertion order is not preserved.
Duplicate values are allowed only once. What do you mean by duplicate
Yes,
values
sir.
are only
Yes, sir.
once? I didn't get that point. Why duplicates are allowed in null?
Sir,
Why duplicates are allowed in set?
it
Set
allowed,
duplicates
sir.
are allowed or not allowed? That is the
Sorry, sir,
question.
duplicates are not allowed. Null values are allowed only once.
Not allowed. Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, that's all from my side. Do you have any questions?
No thanks.
Nothing? All good?
Yes, sir, fine.
Okay. Thank you. Nice talking to you. I'll get back to you.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir.